Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the stars. The USS Defiance was far from Earth, exploring new parts of space. Jake had been a captain for 10 years, but he had never seen anything like what appeared on his screens today. "Sir, we have something big coming toward us," said Lieutenant Amy Foster from her station. She was the ship's communications officer and one of the best Jake had ever worked with. Her voice was calm, but Jake could hear worry in it. Jake walked over to look at her screen. What he saw made his heart beat faster. 12 massive ships were moving toward them. These ships looked like they were made of crystal and light. They were beautiful but also frightening. They were much bigger than any human ship Jake had ever seen. "Try to talk to them, Amy," Jake said. "Let them know we come in peace." Amy worked at her controls and sent out a message in many different languages. They waited. The crystal ships kept coming closer. Then, suddenly, Jake's screen lit up with an incoming message. The face that appeared was not human. It had blue, skin that seemed to glow. Its eyes were silver and cold. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music, but there was no kindness in it. "I am Commander Zelkar of the Zephyrian Dominion," the alien said. "You will stop your ship and prepare to be boarded. Resistance is not permitted." Jake felt anger rise in his chest. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earthship USS Defiance. We are on a peaceful mission. We mean no harm." The alien commander looked at Jake like he was looking at a bug. "Earth? We have not heard of this place. Your ship uses primitive technology. Your weapons are laughably weak. You will surrender now." "We will not surrender," Jake said firmly. "We have done nothing wrong." Zelkar made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your ship fires metal bullets and uses chemical explosions for power. Our children play with better toys. You cannot fight the Dominion." The screen went dark. Jake felt his crew looking at him. They were scared, but they trusted him. Jake had to make a choice that would change everything. "Amy, send a message to Earth. Tell them we have made contact with hostile aliens. Tell Admiral Kane we need help." "Sir, they are jamming our communications," Amy said. "I cannot get a message through." Jake watched as the crystal ship surrounded his vessel. Bright beams of energy shot from their weapons and hit the Defiance. The ship shook hard. Jake held onto his chair as sparks flew from damaged control panels. "Shields are down to 60%, called out Engineer Bill Cooper from his station. "Their energy weapons are very strong, sir." Jake knew they could not win this fight, but he also knew he could not give up. "Fire all weapons," he ordered. The Defiance shot its missiles and energy cannons at the nearest alien ship. Jake watched as their weapons hit the crystal hull. For a moment, he thought they had done some damage, but then he saw the alien ship's shields glow brighter. Their attack had done nothing. "Sir, incoming message from the lead ship," Amy said. Commander Zelkar appeared on screen again. This time he was definitely laughing. "Did you really think your primitive weapons could hurt us? We have ruled this galaxy for 3,000 years. Hundreds of worlds bow to our power. You are nothing." Jake felt helpless, but he would not show it. "You may be stronger, but you do not know humans. We do not give up easily." "Humans," Zelkar said the word like it tasted bad. "Another weak species to add to our empire. Your planet will make a good source of workers for our mines." The alien cut the connection. Jake felt his ship shake again as more energy beams hit them. He knew the Defiance could not take much more damage. On Earth, Admiral Lisa Kane was having a normal day until the emergency alarm started ringing. She ran to the command center where dozens of people were working at computer screens. The main screen showed a map of space near Earth. "What is the situation?" she asked. General Peter Hayes, an old friend and fellow officer, walked up to her with a worried look. "We lost contact with the USS Defiance 3 hours ago. Their last transmission mentioned first contact with unknown ships." Lisa felt cold fear in her stomach. For years, she had wondered when humans would meet other intelligent life. She had hoped it would be peaceful. "Do we have any other information?" "Long-range sensors picked up energy signatures moving toward our solar system," Peter said. "Whatever Jake found out there, it is coming here." Lisa looked at the map and saw red dots moving toward Earth. There were hundreds of them. How long do we have? At their current speed, maybe 2 days, Peter answered. Lisa thought about all the people on Earth who did not know that aliens existed. She thought about her own family. Then she thought about the secret projects that had been hidden for decades. Peter, contact President Santos. Tell her we need to activate all defensive protocols. And Peter, she paused. Tell her it is time to wake up Project Leviathan. Peter's eyes went wide. He had heard rumors about Leviathan, but he thought it was just a story. Lisa, are you sure? If aliens are coming to Earth with hostile intentions, we need every advantage we can get, even the old ones. Back in space, Jake watched as his ship was pulled into the cargo bay of the largest alien vessel. His crew was scared but ready to fight. They had no idea that their capture was about to start the biggest war in human history. As the USS Defiance disappeared into the crystal ship, Jake made himself a promise. Somehow he would get word to Earth about what was coming. Humans might seem primitive to these aliens, but Jake knew something the Zephyrians did not. When humans were threatened, they became very dangerous. The galaxy was about to learn that lesson the hard way. 3 months had passed since the Zephyrian fleet arrived at Earth. The crystal ships hung in the sky above every major city like deadly stars. Commander Zelkar stood in his command center on the largest ship and looked down at the blue planet below. The human resistance is weaker than expected, he told his science officer Mordan. Their weapons cannot even scratch our shields. I do not understand why they continue to fight. Mordan was studying data on his screen. He was the smartest Zephyrian in the fleet, but humans confused him. Sir, their technology is very old. They still use metal bullets and chemical explosives. Some of their weapons use nuclear fusion, but even that is thousands of years behind our energy systems. Yet they refuse to surrender, Zelkar said. Every other species we conquered gave up after the first battle. Humans keep fighting with their useless weapons. Down on Earth, Ben Taylor crawled through the ruins of what used to be New York City. The tall buildings were broken and burned. Smoke rose from fires that had been burning for weeks. Ben led a group of 20 human fighters who hid in the subway tunnels during the day and came out at night to attack the aliens. Remember, aim for the joints in their armor, Ben whispered. To his team, our bullets cannot get through their energy shields, but we can still hurt them if we are smart. Lieutenant Amy Foster had escaped from the USS Defiance when it was captured. She now worked with Ben's group, using her communication skills to talk to other resistance fighters around the world. She had a small radio hidden in the tunnel. Ben, I am getting reports from resistance groups in London, Tokyo, and Mexico City, she said quietly. They are all having the same problem. The aliens' personal shields stop our weapons. Ben nodded. He had lost many good friends trying to fight the Zephyrians, but he had learned something important. The aliens were very confident, maybe too confident. They walked around Earth like they owned it, not bothering to watch for threats they thought were too weak to matter. Far below the surface, in a secret base under the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Rachel Green was working on something that could change everything. She had been part of Project Leviathan for 15 years, but most people thought the project was just a waste of money. General Hayes, I need you to see this, she called out. Peter Hayes walked over to her workstation. He still could not believe that Project Leviathan was real. For decades, the government had been spending money on what seemed like old, useless technology. What have you found, Rachel? He asked. Rachel pointed to her computer screen. I have been studying the alien energy shields from the battle data Admiral Kane collected. These shields are designed to stop plasma beams, particle weapons, and directed energy attacks. But look at this. She showed him a simulation on her screen. Their shields work by detecting incoming energy signatures and creating an opposite field to cancel them out. But there is something they never prepared for. What is that? Simple kinetic energy, Rachel said with a smile. Metal bullets moving very fast. The shields cannot stop something that has no energy signature to detect. Peter felt his heart beat faster. Are you saying our old weapons can hurt them? Not just hurt them, Peter. I think our old weapons might be better than their new ones. While the galaxy moved to energy weapons, we kept improving bullets, explosives, and missiles. We made them faster, stronger, and smarter. President Maria Santos was in a meeting with her top advisors when Admiral Kane called with urgent news. Madam President, we have been monitoring alien communications, Lisa said over the video link. They think we are completely defeated. They are bringing in science ships to study our technology and workers to start mining operations. What are our options? The president asked. Project Leviathan is ready for the first test, Lisa answered. Dr. Green believes our kinetic weapons can penetrate their defenses. We also have something else. What is that? The aliens have never fought an enemy that uses our type of technology. They do not know how to defend against it. We have been fighting each other with guns and explosives for hundreds of years. We know how to use them very well. In space, Captain Jake Morrison was locked in a prison cell on the alien mothership. He had been there for months, but he had not been sitting still. He had been watching and learning. The Zephyrians were very advanced, but they were also very proud. They thought humans were too primitive to be a real threat. Jake had seen their technology up close, and he had noticed something important. Their ships were fast and powerful, but they were designed to fight other energy-based ships. The aliens flew in perfect formations and used computer-controlled weapons that could hit targets very far away. But Jake wondered what would happen if human ships got close and used different tactics. Amy Foster's radio crackled with a new message. It was from Admiral Kane. All resistance cells, this is Admiral Kane. Prepare for Operation Throwback. In 24 hours, we will show these aliens that old technology can be very dangerous in the right hands. Ben Taylor smiled for the first time in months. He did not know what Operation Throwback was, but he liked the name. He had been throwing back at the aliens with everything he had. Amy, contact all the other groups, he said. Tell them to get ready. Tomorrow we fight back. Dr. Green was putting the final touches on a weapon that looked like it came from a museum. It was a railgun, a device that used magnetic fields to shoot metal objects at incredible speeds. But this railgun was different from the old ones. It was more powerful than anything humans had ever built. This baby can shoot a tungsten rod at 15% of light speed, she told General Hayes. The aliens' shields will not even know it is coming. Peter looked at the weapon with amazement. How is this possible? We never stopped working on kinetic weapons, Rachel explained. While other civilizations moved to energy systems, we kept making bullets go faster. We just did it in secret. High above Earth, Commander Zelkar was planning the final phase of the conquest. He would establish permanent bases on the human planet and begin shipping resources back to the Dominion. The humans had been surprisingly stubborn, but they were clearly beaten. Sir, Morden said, I am detecting some unusual activity on the planet's surface. The humans appear to be moving large equipment. Zelkar barely looked up from his plans. Let them move whatever they want. Their primitive technology cannot threaten us. Mordan felt uneasy, but he said nothing. In all his years of service, he had never seen a species continue fighting after such a clear defeat. Humans were different from other conquered races, but he could not figure out how. As night fell on Earth, resistance fighters around the world prepared for something they had never tried before. They were going to fight aliens with weapons that were hundreds of years old. But these were not the same weapons their ancestors had used. These were old weapons made perfect. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn that sometimes the best way forward is to perfect what you already have. Operation Throwback began at sunrise. Around the world, human resistance fighters emerged from their hiding places, carrying weapons the Zephyrians had never seen before. These looked like the old guns and missiles humans had always used, but they were different in important ways. Ben Taylor led his team through the ruins of Manhattan. Each fighter carried a new type of rifle that Dr. Green's people had developed. The weapons looked simple, but they could fire bullets at speeds that would make the aliens' computers confused. Remember what Admiral Kane told us, Ben said to his team. These bullets move too fast for their shields to detect. But we still need to be smart about how we use them. Amy Foster was coordinating with resistance groups around the world using a new communication system. The aliens had jammed regular radio signals, but humans had found a way to use old shortwave frequencies that the Zephyrian technology ignored. London team reports ready, she told Ben. Tokyo team is in position. Mexico City team has visual on their target. In the underground command center, Admiral Kane watched as dozens of red dots appeared on her tactical display. Each dot represented a resistance team armed with Project Leviathan weapons. For the first time since the invasion began, humans were going to fight back with weapons that could actually hurt their enemies. All teams, this is Admiral Kane. She spoke into her microphone. Today we show these aliens that humans are not as primitive as they think. Begin the attack. The first shot came from Ben's team in New York. Steve Murphy, one of Ben's best fighters, aimed his new rifle at a Zephyrian patrol walker. The alien machine was the size of a small building and had energy shields that could stop tank shells. Steve pulled the trigger. The bullet that came out of his rifle was made of a special metal and moved at incredible speed. When it hit the alien walker, something amazing happened. The energy shield flickered and failed. The bullet went right through the armor and into the machine's core. The walker exploded in a shower of crystal and light. "Direct hit," Steve shouted. The shield did not stop it. Around the world, similar attacks were happening. Human fighters were destroying alien equipment that had seemed impossible to damage. The Zephyrians had never faced weapons like these before. On the alien mothership, Commander Zelkar received the first damage reports with disbelief. "Sir, we have lost 12 patrol units on the surface," Mordan reported. "The humans are using some kind of new weapon." "Impossible," Zelkar said. "Their technology is primitive. Show me the battle data." Mordan put the recordings on the main screen. Zelkar watched as human weapons destroyed Zephyrian equipment with single shots. The energy readings made no sense to him. "What type of energy beam is this?" he asked. "Sir, it is not an energy beam," Mordan said quietly. "It appears to be a solid projectile moving at significant fractions of light speed." Zelkar stared at the screen. "You mean they are throwing rocks at us?" "Very fast rocks, sir." Meanwhile, Dr. Green was preparing to test the largest weapon in Project Leviathan. Deep in an underground facility, a massive railgun was aimed at one of the alien ships in Earth's orbit. This weapon was different from the small rifles the resistance fighters were using. This one could shoot objects into space. "General Hayes, we are ready for the orbital test," she announced. Peter Hayes felt nervous. If this test failed, the aliens would know about their secret weapons, but if it worked, they might be able to damage the alien fleet. "Take the shot," he ordered. The railgun fired with a sound like thunder. A tungsten rod the size of a telephone pole shot out of the weapon. At incredible speed, in seconds it reached the lower orbit where the alien ships waited. The rod hit a Zephyrian cruiser right in the center. The ship's shields tried to stop it, but they were designed for energy weapons. The solid metal rod went through the shields like they were not there. It punched a hole completely through the alien ship. The cruiser began to spin out of control as atmosphere leaked from the hole. Explosions ran along its crystal hull as internal systems failed. In the alien command ship, alarms were ringing everywhere. "Sir, the cruiser Bright Dawn has been severely damaged," Mordan reported. "Something hit it from the planet's surface." Zelkar could not believe what he was seeing. How can humans reach orbital altitude with their primitive weapons? "Sir, I am beginning to think their weapons are not as primitive as we believed." Captain Jake Morrison watched the damage to the alien ship from his prison cell. The guards had run away when the alarm started, leaving him alone. He had seen the human attack through the window and it gave him hope. Jake knew the layout of the alien ship very well by now. He had been planning an escape for weeks. With the aliens distracted by the attack, this was his chance. He used a piece of metal he had hidden to work on the lock of his cell. The alien technology was advanced, but the physical lock was simple. After several minutes, it clicked open. Jake moved carefully through the ship's corridors. He needed to reach the communication center. If he could send a message to Earth, he could give Admiral Kane valuable information about the alien fleet. On Earth, the battles were going better than anyone had hoped. Human fighters were winning fights against alien forces that had seemed unbeatable just hours before. The key was using weapons the aliens had never learned to defend against. Colonel Dan Roberts led an attack on a major alien base outside Washington, D.C. His team was equipped with rocket launchers that fired warheads at incredible speeds. The aliens' energy shields could stop plasma and laser weapons, but they had no defense against explosives moving at near-light velocity. These shields were designed for a different kind of war, Dan told his team as they prepared for the assault. Let's show them what human warfare looks like. The attack was swift and devastating. Human rockets destroyed alien defense systems that had never been damaged before. For the first time since the invasion began, alien forces retreated from human attacks. Dr. Alex Carter was studying captured alien technology in a laboratory hidden beneath the ruins of Chicago. What he discovered changed everything humans thought they knew about galactic warfare. The aliens' entire military is based on energy weapons because that is what everyone else in the galaxy uses, he explained to Admiral Kane over a secure video link. They designed their shields, their armor, their tactics around fighting energy-based attacks. What does that mean for us? Kane asked. It means they are completely unprepared for kinetic warfare. While the galaxy evolved beyond bullets and explosives, we perfected them. Their advanced technology has a blind spot the size of a planet. Admiral Kane smiled. For months, she had felt helpless watching alien ships destroy human cities. Now she saw a path to victory. Alex, how many other species in the galaxy use kinetic weapons? According to the alien databases I hacked, none. Everyone switched to energy weapons thousands of years ago. We are the only ones still using what they consider primitive technology. Kane realized the full scope of what this meant. The Zephyrian Dominion had conquered hundreds of worlds using the same tactics and technology, but they had never fought anyone like humans. Alex, I want you to prepare a message for broadcast to the entire galaxy. It is time to teach other species about the old ways. As the day ended, the Zephyrians found themselves facing their first major military defeat in thousands of years. Human weapons that seemed primitive were proving more effective than the most advanced alien technology. Commander Zelkar stared at the damage reports and tried to understand what had gone wrong. How could a species with such old technology defeat forces that had conquered the galaxy? The answer was simple, but the aliens could not see it yet. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways, especially when your enemies have forgotten how to fight them. Tomorrow would bring even bigger surprises. The second week of the human counterattack changed everything. What had started as small resistance victories became a full-scale war that the Zephyrians were losing badly. Commander Zelkar stood in his damaged command center and tried to understand how his mighty fleet was being defeated by primitive humans. Sir, we have lost 43 ships in the past week, Morden reported. His voice was shaking. The humans are using weapons our systems cannot detect or defend against. How is this possible? Zelkar demanded. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. Our technology is thousands of years ahead of theirs. Sir, I think that might be the problem, Mordan said carefully. Our technology is designed to fight other advanced civilizations. We have never faced an enemy that still uses kinetic weapons. Captain Jake Morrison had successfully escaped from the alien prison ship and stolen a small shuttle. He was now flying back toward Earth, carrying information that would help Admiral Kane plan bigger attacks against the alien fleet. Earth Command, this is Captain Morrison. He spoke into the shuttle's radio. I have intelligence on alien fleet positions and weaknesses. Admiral Kane's voice came back immediately. Jake, we thought you were dead. What can you tell us? The aliens have a major weakness, Jake reported. Their ships are designed for long-range energy weapon fights. If our ships can get close and use kinetic weapons, their defenses are almost useless. How close do we need to get? Within a few thousand kilometers. At that range, their targeting systems get confused by our chemical rocket signatures. They keep trying to lock onto energy sources that do not exist. Kane smiled. She had been planning a major space battle, but she needed to know more about alien tactics. Jake's information was exactly what she needed. On Earth, Ben Taylor was leading the largest resistance operation yet attempted. His target was the main alien command base in North America. The base was protected by dozens of energy shields and guarded by hundreds of alien soldiers. Everyone remember the plan, Ben told his expanded team of 50 fighters. We hit them with everything at once. Use the new explosive rounds for the big targets and the armor-piercing bullets for personnel. Amy Foster had been promoted to Resistance Communications Chief. She was coordinating attacks in 12 cities around the world. Ben, all teams report ready. London is starting their attack in 10 minutes. The new human weapons were even more advanced than the ones used in the first attacks. Dr. Green had been working day and night to improve the designs. The latest rifles could fire bullets that changed direction in flight, and the new explosives could burn through alien armor like paper. These bullets are not just fast, Dr. Green explained to General Hayes. They are smart. Each one has a tiny computer that can adjust its path to hit weak spots in alien armor. Peter Hayes shook his head in amazement. How did we develop this technology so quickly? We did not develop it quickly, Rachel replied. We have been working on it for decades. Project Leviathan was not about creating new weapons. It was about perfecting old ones until they became better than anything the galaxy had seen. The attack on the alien base began with a barrage of rocket fire. Human fighters hidden in the ruins around the base launched missiles that moved too fast for alien defenses to track. The explosions destroyed the outer energy barriers in seconds. Ben led the charge into the base with his assault team. The aliens inside were wearing their personal energy shields, but the human bullets went right through them. The Zephyrian soldiers had never faced weapons like these and did not know how to fight back. Their shields are useless, shouted Steve Murphy as he took down 3 alien guards with precise shots. They cannot stop our rounds at all. In space, the real test was beginning. Admiral Kane had assembled a fleet of human ships for the first major space battle since the invasion began. The ships looked old compared to the crystal alien vessels, but they were armed with weapons the aliens had never seen. All ships, this is Admiral Kane aboard the USS Leviathan, she announced. Today we take back our home system. Remember, get close and use kinetic weapons. Make every shot count. The human fleet consisted of 30 ships armed with railguns, missile launchers, and even some old nuclear weapons that had been upgraded with new guidance systems. Against the alien energy-based fleet, these weapons would be devastating. Colonel Dan Roberts was piloting one of the human fighters. His ship was small and fast, designed to get close to enemy vessels before they could react. Kane, this is Roberts. I am beginning my attack run on the lead alien cruiser. Dan's fighter shot toward the alien ship at full speed. The Zephyrian vessel tried to target him with energy weapons, but its computers could not get a lock on his chemical rocket engines. The alien targeting system kept looking for energy signatures that were not there. When Dan got close enough, he fired a spread of kinetic missiles. The projectiles hit the alien ship's hull and punched through like bullets through paper. The cruiser began venting atmosphere as its crystal armor cracked. Direct hits, Dan reported. Their hull cannot stop our missiles. All across the battle zone, human ships were achieving similar results. The alien fleet, which had seemed invincible just weeks before, was taking heavy damage from weapons they could not understand or defend against. Dr. Alex Carter had made another important discovery in his laboratory. He had been studying alien computer systems and found something that would change the entire war. Admiral Kane, you need to hear this, he said during an emergency communication. I have been analyzing alien databases and I found records of other species they conquered. What did you find? Every single species they defeated was forced to abandon kinetic weapons in favor of energy-based systems. The aliens did not just conquer these worlds. They made them dependent on Zephyrian technology. Kane felt a chill run down her spine. You mean they deliberately made other species weak? Exactly. They convinced conquered worlds that energy weapons were more advanced and civilized. Then they designed their entire military to counter energy weapons. It was a trap that worked on everyone. Everyone except us. Right. We never fell for it, because we never met them before. We kept developing kinetic weapons because we thought they were effective. In the alien command ship, Supreme Overlord Vexthul had arrived to take personal command of the failing invasion. He was the supreme leader of the Zephyrian Dominion and had never lost a battle in 3,000 years of conquest. Commander Zelkar explained to me how a primitive species is defeating our fleet. Vexthul demanded. Zelkar was afraid to answer. Sir, the humans use weapons that our systems cannot counter. They fire solid projectiles at incredible speeds. Solid projectiles? You mean bullets? Yes, sir. Very advanced bullets. Vexthul was quiet for a long time. Then he began to laugh, but it was not a happy sound. Do you realize what this means? We have spent thousands of years perfecting defenses against energy weapons, and these humans defeat us with bullets. What are your orders, sir? Prepare every ship for combat. We will destroy this planet completely rather than admit defeat to a species that fights with primitive weapons. But Vexthul did not know that Captain Jake Morrison had overheard this conversation. Jake was hiding in the ventilation system of the alien command ship, and he had heard every word. Jake activated his stolen communication device. Admiral Kane, this is Morrison. The alien leader is planning to destroy Earth completely. You need to attack now with everything you have. Kane felt her heart racing. The final battle was about to begin, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. But for the first time since the invasion started, she believed humans could win. All human forces, this is Admiral Kane. The aliens are planning to destroy our world. We will not let that happen. Attack with everything you have. Show them what humans can do when we fight for our home. The galaxy was about to witness the greatest upset in military history. An ancient species armed with old weapons was about to defeat the most advanced empire in known space. Sometimes the old ways really are the best ways. The final battle for Earth began when Admiral Kane gave the order that would decide the fate of humanity. All ships, all ground forces, all resistance fighters, this is our moment. Attack with everything we have. From orbit, space, and the surface of Earth, human weapons opened fire at the same time. The Leviathan itself, the massive kinetic bombardment system that Dr. Green had spent decades perfecting, fired its first shot at the alien mothership. The projectile was a tungsten rod the size of a school bus, accelerated to 20% of light speed by a combination of nuclear pulse engines and magnetic launchers. When it hit the alien command ship, the impact was like a small nuclear explosion. Supreme Overlord Vexthul watched in horror as his flagship began to break apart. The kinetic projectile had punched completely through his ship from top to bottom, destroying critical systems and causing massive structural damage. Sir, we are losing power to all major systems, Commander Zelkar reported. The human's weapon went right through our shields like they were not there. How can this be? Vexthul demanded. We are the masters of this galaxy. In space, Captain Jake Morrison had stolen an alien fighter and was now attacking other Zephyrian ships from inside their own formation. The alien computers could not tell the difference between his stolen ship and their own vessels, so he was able to get very close before attacking. Admiral Kane, this is Morrison, he reported over the radio. I am inside their formation. Their own ships cannot target me without hitting each other. Jake fired his stolen ship's weapons at the nearest alien cruiser, but instead of energy beams, his ship was now armed with human kinetic weapons that Dr. Green's team had quickly installed. The bullets tore through the alien vessel's hull like it was made of paper. On Earth, Ben Taylor was leading the final assault on the main alien ground base. His resistance fighters had been joined by regular army units armed with the new kinetic weapons. Together, they overwhelmed the alien defenders, who had no way to stop the human bullets. The base is ours, Ben shouted as the last alien soldiers surrendered. Their ground forces are defeated. Amy Foster was coordinating the global cleanup. Ben, we are getting surrender signals from alien bases all over the world. They cannot fight weapons they cannot defend against. In her underground laboratory, Dr. Rachel Green was monitoring the battle and preparing the next phase of Project A, Leviathan. She had been working on something even more impressive than individual weapons, a way to share human technology with other species across the galaxy. General Hayes, I am ready to broadcast the technical specifications for kinetic weapons to every planet in the galaxy, she announced. Peter Hayes understood what this meant. You want to teach other species how to build weapons like ours? More than that, I want to teach them how to free themselves from Zephyrian rule using the same methods we used. Every conquered world can build these weapons using materials they already have. Dr. Alex Carter had been working on the broadcast system. He had hacked into the Zephyrian communication network and could send messages to every planet in their empire. Rachel, we are ready to transmit. This message will reach hundreds of worlds where species have been enslaved by the Dominion. Ponderie. Broadcast began with a simple message. This is Earth calling all enslaved worlds. We have found a way to defeat the Zephyrian Dominion using weapons they cannot stop. We are sending you the plans to build these weapons yourselves. Across the galaxy, conquered species received the human message. On Kepler Prime, a world that had been enslaved for 200 years, the local population began building kinetic weapons in secret factories. On Rigel 7, alien slaves started preparing bullets and explosives using the designs Earth had sent them. The Zephyrian Empire was about to face rebellions on hundreds of worlds, all armed with weapons their forces could not defend against. Supreme. Overlord Vexthul realized his empire was collapsing. The humans had not just defeated his fleet at Earth, they had given every enslaved species in the galaxy the tools to rebel. Sir, we are receiving reports of uprisings on 47 worlds. Mordan reported. The rebel forces are using the same kinetic weapons the humans developed. Order all fleets to return to their home systems, Vexthul commanded. We must restore order before the entire empire falls apart. But it was too late. The Zephyrian military was designed to fight energy weapon battles against other advanced civilizations. They had no experience fighting primitive kinetic weapons, and they had no defenses against them. Colonel Dan Roberts led a squadron of human fighters in pursuit of the retreating alien fleet. Admiral Kane, the aliens are running. Should we let them go? Kane thought carefully before answering. Let them go, Dan. They are not our real enemy anymore. Our job now is to help liberate the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison landed his captured alien fighter on the USS Leviathan. Admiral Kane met him in the landing bay with a smile. Jake, you did it. You helped us save Earth. We all did it, Jake replied. But this is not over. There are hundreds of worlds out there that need our help to become free. President Maria Santos addressed the world from the White House, which had been rebuilt after the alien bombardment. My fellow humans, we have won the first battle in a war for galactic freedom, but our mission is just beginning. We will help other species learn to defend themselves using the weapons that saved us. We will teach them that advanced technology is not always better technology. Sometimes the old ways are the most effective ways. Dr. Green stood in her laboratory surrounded by the weapons that had saved humanity. The kinetic rifles, the railguns, the smart bullets, and the massive orbital bombardment systems, all based on principles that were thousands of years old, but perfected with human ingenuity. We never stopped believing in kinetic weapons, she told a gathering of scientists from around the world. While the galaxy moved on to energy systems, we kept making bullets go faster, explosives more powerful, and missiles smarter. The Zephyrians thought we were primitive because we still used old technology. They did not realize we had made that old technology better than anything they had ever seen. 6 months after the battle for Earth, the Zephyrian Dominion had lost control of over 200 worlds. Species that had been enslaved for thousands of years were free for the first time in their history, armed with kinetic weapons that made them equal to their former masters. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the USS Leviathan as it traveled to the Centauri system to help establish the first free government there in 500 years. She looked out at the stars and thought about how much had changed. Amy, open a channel to all human ships, she ordered. Channel open, Admiral. This is Admiral Kane to all human forces. 6 months ago, aliens came to our world thinking we were primitive and weak. They learned that humans do not give up and that old weapons in the right hands can be more powerful than any advanced technology. Today, we travel the galaxy not as conquerors but as teachers and liberators. We carry with us the knowledge that sometimes the best way forward is to perfect what you already have. The galaxy thought it had evolved beyond kinetic weapons. We proved that evolution sometimes means going back to what works best. Ben Taylor had been promoted to general and was now training alien resistance fighters on a dozen different worlds. He stood in a training facility on Vega Colony, watching Former slaves learned to use human-designed weapons. Remember, he told a group of blue-skinned vegans, these weapons work because your enemies have forgotten how to fight them, but more importantly, they work because you are fighting for your freedom. Dr. Alex Carter had established the Galactic Liberation Network, a communication system that connected free worlds across the galaxy. His daily broadcasts reached billions of beings who were learning that the Zephyrian Dominion was not as powerful as it seemed. The secret was never better technology, he announced during one broadcast. The secret was different technology. When everyone else was using energy weapons, humans perfected kinetic weapons. Now we can teach that knowledge to anyone who wants to be free. The final defeat of the Zephyrian Dominion came not in one great battle, but in 1,000 small ones. Across the galaxy, species after species threw off their chains using weapons that were both ancient and revolutionary. Supreme Overlord Vexthal surrendered on the 1-year anniversary of the first human victory. His crystal fleet was outnumbered and outgunned by former slaves armed with human weapons. We ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years, he said during his surrender broadcast. We thought we were invincible because we had the most advanced technology. We never imagined that a species still using primitive weapons could defeat us. But the humans taught us something important. They showed us that advanced does not always mean better. Sometimes the old ways, perfected with wisdom and determination, are more powerful than anything new. Admiral Kane accepted the surrender aboard the USS Leviathan. As she looked at the defeated alien leader, she felt no anger or hatred, only sadness for all the suffering his empire had caused. Your empire fell because you forgot something important, she told him. You forgot that true strength comes not from having the best weapons, but from never giving up the fight for what is right.